Friday night in the Capitol Center. Charles Johnson of the Washington Bullets going up with a shot. Score tied against Philadelphia. Wes Unseld with 260 pounds pulls down the rebound and misses, but sticks with it. And this basket will give the Bullets the Eastern Conference Championship. Today, we'll decide if Seattle will meet Washington or if Denver will stay alive in the West.
The NBA on CBS. Today's playoff game is sponsored by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. STP products for the man who takes good care of his hard-working car. And by all the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevy dealers everywhere.
Arena in Denver, Colorado. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brent Musburger, and right off the top, a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in attendance here on this Sunday afternoon watching NBA basketball on CBS. A pleasure again to bring in Rick Barry. And Rick, what a matchup job Dennis Johnson's done against David Thompson.
It certainly has been a key factor in this series, Brent, and I still think that if Denver is expecting to win, they have got to get more diversification in their offense. We talked about that a great deal. Let's see what happens.
All right, the starting lineups for this afternoon's game as David Thompson leads the Nuggets out to the opening tip. Same fives who started the whole series. Roberts, Jones, Issel, Wilkerson, and Thompson against John Johnson, Sikma, Webster, Dennis Johnson, and Gus Williams. The officials today, Darryl Garrettson holding the basketball ready to toss it up, Jake O'Donnell, and the alternate is Jack Madden. So the situation's quite simple. Denver must win today to force a 6-game Wednesday night, which would be played in Seattle. Gus Williams puts the Sonics up.
And Gus wastes no time, so I might as well say he wished a special happy Mother's Day to his mother.
Here's Bobby Wilkerson now. He must quarterback the team, and the absence of Brian Taylor has really affected the numbers.
And that's what Bobby Jones has got to do more of, Brent. They have to get him involved in the offense. He's got to put some more pressure. They need more people scoring points, and we'll probably look for Bobby to be shooting more.
Thompson was out pressuring Gus Williams as he came across the line, and look who is back. There is the chicken mascot who was kicked out by Earl Strom in Game 1, making his first appearance since. And, of course, Game 1 was the only contest the Nuggets were able to win. John Johnson goes back to Webster off the pick and roll. Nuggets with excellent defense, 3-on-2. Anthony Roberts is 21.
So Anthony Roberts, the man who was shut down very effectively in the last ball game with 4 points, hits a quick basket, and that was good defense by Denver on the double team on the pick and roll.
Thompson is there to greet Williams. Webster is out high. Ball goes to the left side. John Johnson coming in. Foul by Roberts. And we might as well tell you that there is a tremendous difference in the number of free throws that have been attempted by these two teams. 174 have been shot by Seattle and only 100 by Denver. Rick, why do you think that is?
I think perhaps Denver is trying to be much more aggressive on the boards. They were hurt so badly during the regular season. They've done a great job with it so far, but they're picking up a lot of extra fouls.
2 field goals for Gus Williams. Tied at 4, 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Thompson maneuvers in. Sikma reached through on him, and a foul is called.
Jack Sikma has been in foul trouble in a number of the ball games, and Bobby Jones has done one whale of a job on him. He shut him down effectively during the regular season. He's doing a great job against him here in the playoffs.
Rick, when you're trailing 3-1 and you have a tremendous individual talent such as David Thompson, is it not possible that they could turn him loose today?
There's a very good possibility of that, Brent, but also he still has to try to play within the framework of the team concept.
Wilkerson cleaned up Issel's miss and dished off to Jones, who was moving for the rebound, but that's a 3-second violation.
And that's just a bad break for Denver. It was a fine pass off that time to Bobby Jones. He just couldn't get the handle on the ball. Would have been an easy basket.
Wilkerson waiting his man. Thompson is there at midcourt. Nuggets are trying to pressure the ball up high. Here's Sikma.
And so all of the players who have not shot the ball all that well the last few games are responding early.
The horse on the drive, and it's 7-6. Nuggets lead on Danny Issel's hoop, and he's played a whale of a series. Williams goes the length of the floor.
Gus Williams at his best right there.
That's 6 points already for Gus, 8-7. And back up the Nuggets and Wilkerson. Seattle wants a timeout after that, Rick.
Yes, and a good reason for it. Letty Wilkins wants to get things straightened out here. One of the things Denver didn't do in the early ball games, Brent, was get in the middle, get that penetration to the basket. They shut it off effectively. Right now, Denver's gotten inside very easily, and Letty wants to put a stop to it.
When you order a beer, do like Smoking Joe. Order light beer from Miller and say no more. It's got the third less calories than the regular beer. Light tastes great, y'all, but listen here. It's not the thing that makes me shout. Light's less filling, hey, that really knocks me out.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The Dutch Masters buyers are in France for the international auction of rare African Cameroon tobacco. There are two secrets they must keep to win some of the best leaf for Dutch Masters: the exact leaf they want and the price they'll pay.
That's a nice color.
When their bid is opened by the French auctioneers, they'll learn if they've won some of the best.
Acheteur Dutch Masters.
Taste the taste the world competes for in a Dutch Masters Cameroon cigar. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
See what's new today.
Chevrolet announces a lot more Chevette for a lot less money. New Chevette standard equipment includes a radio, reclining bucket seats, white-wall tires, console, sports steering wheel, a 1.6-liter engine, 18 new standard features in all, plus a wide hatch, carpeting, front disc brakes, rack and pinion steering, and more. The 78 Chevy Chevette. A lot more car for a lot less money.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the Motorcycle Jump-Off Championships and the finals of the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders Competition. Rick, have they asked you to come down and help judge that competition?
No, my wife wouldn't let me go.
Well, it's catching on, isn't it? The Los Angeles Rams will unveil the group. I think they'll be known as the Sundancers. 9-8. Denver leads here. 10:04 to go in the first quarter.
Brent, if this is any indication, 4 for 5 from the floor from Denver, 4 for 4 from Seattle. We may have the finest offensive game by either team in this series. Neither team playing exceptionally good from the field, shooting only a little over 40%.
John Johnson waited for two cutters and then took it himself. Roberts yanks it off. One team foul apiece. If Denver wins, Game 6 Wednesday night. If Seattle wins, the championship will open Friday night. Thompson's all alone.
Yes, that time Johnny Johnson was going out to the man. Didn't see David coming in the middle. Just lack of communication on the defensive part.
11-8, a three-point Denver lead. 9:24 to go in the first quarter. The Washington Bullets, no doubt, watching. Webster on the drive, stepped out of bounds. It'll go to the Nuggets. Lenny Wilkins now. Double screen on the left side. Jones came around it, and Sigma went with him.
Yes, and what happened on that one is the second foul is picked up by Jack Sigma. Bobby Jones is able to beat him the ball. There you see him get perfect position into the basket. Sigma with a little body action right there picks up the foul. Bobby misses the left-handed shot. Unusual for him in that close, but when you play defense in that situation, Brent, you have to try to beat the man from the weak side to the strong side of the floor. Not an easy task.
And that is two fouls on Jack Sigma as Jones' free throw spins back out.
One thing that should be pointed out, Brent, is that this Denver team has not played that good of basketball ever since Brian Taylor left. Only 50%, and only once during that time in some 50 games did they actually win more than 2 games in a row. Once they had a 4-game stretch, but that was it.
They missed that tough ball-handling guard who can also shoot. Sigma puts it down on Jones, gives it up. Here's Marvin out far away from the basket. Denver would like to keep him there. Jump shot outside. Issel came up and fouled him, and Dan is furious.
Yes, and these are the type of fouls, Brent, that really have caused problems for Denver. Here he's got a man 7 feet tall, out 15 feet from the basket, picking up a silly foul in that situation. He can't block the shot. You shouldn't even give the official an opportunity to call a foul in that situation. If Marvin Webster's going to beat you from out there, you're in trouble.
Paul Silas reports in. He's the first substitution. He's off of Lenny Wilkins' bench. There are 4 players left who have played previously on championship teams in the NBA. You were looking at one of them, Paul Silas. Think for a moment about the other 3. Denver. They lead it by 4, 8:44. Dennis Johnson checks over the right shoulder for the pick. Thompson takes him over to Issel and uses the screen.
And that's what David's got to do, Brad. He ran his man, Dennis Johnson, behind the screen. He didn't waste any time, and right up and took the shot. He's been a little hesitant before, especially when he's got a one-on-one situation.
Shooting less than 40%. The first 4 games of this series. Denver's defense tough. Webster waited a long time for an open man. Wilkerson is out there on Dennis Johnson and a 3-second violation.
So Denver playing much better defense. They're really doing a good job in pressuring Seattle right now, not giving them easy opportunities.
And of course the key is to play good defense without picking up too many fouls. Thompson sent it back to Wilkerson. Webster, lead to Williams. Wilkerson goes to cut him off, and no. Another violation, and the Sonics turn it over on that illegal dribble.
Here's the play again. There you see Gussie put it down. He picks it up, puts it in the other hand. He's not allowed to do that. Double dribble.
14-8, 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Jones.
So no question, Bobby Jones is going to be much more of a factor in this game offensively. They're really looking for him now, Brent.
Bandaged high on that right leg. Jones switched out and forced Williams back into the middle. But Gus has got a hot hand. And Larry Brown calling the play. Nuggets are up by 6. Thompson again outside.
There you saw the little hesitation, Brent.
Anthony Roberts, it's off Issel's hand. It'll go to the Sonics.
You see what I was talking about? He got the ball, he had the shot, he was thinking about it for a while. When David's been doing that, he has not been as effective shooting.
Dennis Johnson fouled by Wilkerson as he tried to come around the horn.
Here's the play again. Wilkerson being very aggressive. You see right there, he just pushed the man off. You saw him spin the man around, Dennis Johnson picking up the foul.
Jones watching Silas. Williams again. Here come the Nuggets. Quickly to Issel. Up in Marvin Webster's face that time.
And you talked earlier in the series about Dan Issel getting up and down the floor. He is really hustling. He just out-hustled Marvin Webster up the floor and got good position.
It's an 8-point Denver lead. 6:35 to go in the first quarter at McNichols. Denver is all over the ball defensively. Silas spins one in. They'd settle for Silas shooting every trip down the floor. Issel, the cutter, traveled. Darnell Hillman checks in. The Nuggets trainer has been busy. There's tape all over Jones, Wilkerson, and Darnell.
Chopper loves it.
Dennis Johnson went up neatly that time.
And the chopper, of course, Brent, is Bob Travellini, the trainer for the Nuggets.
Issel's layup misses, and Darnell Hillman, who played well the other night in Seattle, and Issel on the other side, they banged the glass well.
Again, Denver doing a good job on the offensive boards. They've been very effective throughout the series on that situation.
5:45, first quarter. It's 20-14, Nuggets over the Sonics. Webster. Lead to Issel is wide open.
Denver very effective with their defense when Seattle's been in a set situation, Brent. They've scored most of their points off of break or transition opportunities.
It's possible that the Sonics are just a touch overconfident here today. They lead this series 3-1, and if they don't play with the intensity that they've shown, it's somewhat understandable. Hillman, the cutter. Anthony Roberts.
Paul Silas just shoved his man out of the way and got away with it.
Johnson to Williams.
Again, off the transition, Brent. When they set up, Denver's defense has been very tough.
They may need before this is over. Gus Williams, 10 points. Freddie there to the right of Jack Sikma.
They use him in the fourth quarter usually. He's gotten 13, 13, and 11 in the last 3 games.
3 team fouls against the Nuggets, 2 against the Sonics. Thompson wants to go in on Dennis Johnson. And Issel cleans up.
That time Marvin Webster was looking to go help out on David Thompson, got caught a little flat-footed and enabled Dan Issel to get to the boards again.
John Johnson has asked for this play. He wants the ball to come through him. Rubs off Roberts and takes it. Anthony back for the rebound. Intercepted Williams. Issel was breaking wide open if they could have got the ball behind the defensive man. Johnson's out. Loose ball foul called by Darrell Gerritsen underneath. And it's going against Darnell Hillman.
So Darnell a little over-aggressive again, as you see, going to the boards, trying to get it. This is where Denver's picked up a lot of fouls. Watch him underneath. Watch his left arm. Right there he has Paul Silas hooked and just moves him out of the way with the left arm.
Dennis Johnson cut off by Wilkerson, who goes down. Johnson staying with it as Hillman switches over and Darnell picks up his second foul.
Here's the play again. Watch there. Wilkerson gets good position. Fakes a little bit. Gets Hillman in the air. He lands on Dennis Johnson. Nice play by Dennis Johnson.
Lenny Wilkins now giving some advice to John Johnson, who will carry it out to Gus Williams. Dennis Johnson has played a sensational series. He's out of Pepperdine. He's been to the free throw line to shoot double figures in each of the last 3 games. Badly dislocated middle finger on his right hand the day before the series became official, and he was slowed somewhat. You can see that he's still wearing a partial splint on the top of that finger. But he has impressed everyone with his defensive ability against David Thompson, and at the offensive end, he's made Thompson work hard, and that's been a factor. And if you would like to look ahead, well, you could match up Kevin Greavy against Dennis Johnson, and that would be a whale of a matchup. Greavy, of course, the tall guard for Dick Motta's Washington Bullets. Issel out high. The Nuggets are saying, not so fast. We're not out of this yet. Thompson.
And David looks like he's really putting an effort forth, trying to get up to the basket using that great jumping ability. We didn't see him do that very often in the previous 4 games, Brent.
It's an 8-point lead by the Nuggets and 3:24 to go in the first. Wilkerson on Dennis Johnson.
Again, good defense by Denver.
Dennis will come up on Wilkerson. Issel off now. It's 3-on-1. Nuggets should convert here. Roberts.
Well, I'll tell you, this Denver team is playing the best basketball they have played so far in the series. No question about it. And as you pointed out, Seattle seems a little flat, Brent. As we seem to play here, Wilkerson coming down. He draws Gus to him, goes in the air, makes Gus commit. Pitches off to Roberts, the foul on the arm, the follow-through, the dunk shot, and Denver is pumped.
And as a result, they have taken a 10-point lead in the first quarter.
But as we pointed out so many times, when Denver gets ahead, for some reason they lack that killer instinct. They invariably let the other team back in the ballgame. There's a long way to go here. Let's see how Seattle can do it. They have to take their time, get their offense going a little better, chip away at it.
That's the time left in the first quarter. The Sonics trying to set up. Johnson goes one-on-one and makes it. The Sonics are not one of the better setup teams in the NBA, but if you get into a running game with them, you must beware because they have got talent and depth at guards. Johnson and Williams to start, and Freddie Brown off the bench. But so far here, Denver has dominated, and they've asked for the timeout.
The Kawasaki KZ400.
Morning, Mr. Thomas.
So easy and fun to ride.
Morning, Mr. Thomas.
People ride it everywhere. It's slender, nimble, with a smooth, dependable electric start 4-stroke engine. Front disc brake, the works. The price? See your Kawasaki dealer. You'll see why it's the best-selling 400cc bike in America.
Hey, who took my parking space?
Morning, Mr. Thomas.
Kawasaki, let's go control. Kawasaki, let's go. Get up there.
Get up there. Hi, this big man here, he runs on hay at Aquapura. But this baby, she runs on gas, and that's where STP gas treatment comes in. You just pump it in your tank, and it goes to work cleaning your carburetor. It's powerful stuff. Open your mouth and say, ah, sweetheart.
I gotta get through. The guys are counting on me. Likely we rented this truck.
It's a rider. Rider originally says tough trucks. Now keep on going. Trucks have never heard the word quit.
Hey, fellas, he made it!
I made it! I made it! They said it couldn't be done, but I made it! I drove the truck. I drove you! You're my truck! We're a team! I love you, truck!
The Colonial National coming up. The scores now show Trevino 1 stroke ahead of Hurd. Melnick sitting in 3rd place. He is 2 back.
Get that merry Mexican down close to the border and he goes crazy.
Anytime Lee shows up in Texas, beware. He'll take you on with a Coke bottle. Rebounds, Denver 11, Seattle 2. Scoreboard, Denver 29 and Seattle 20. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. And again, the schedule coming up this week. If Denver holds on, the series will go back to Seattle on Wednesday night, and the championship series will begin in either Seattle or Denver on Sunday afternoon. But if the Sonics eliminate Denver this afternoon, then we will be in Seattle Friday night. It will be a 6 p.m. Pacific Coast time start, 9 o'clock New York. And we'll discuss that a little bit further as the afternoon unfolds here. Issel on the offensive foul call, meaning the ball will be turned over to Seattle, and that is number 2 on the Big Horse.
And a big factor, Dan Issel was in foul trouble, had to go out late in the ball game up in Seattle. Denver still had a chance. Could be a big factor.
Webster traveled.
Good call by Jake O'Donnell. Marvin Webster had the post position and took a walk. That little extra half step.
Issel will take a break. Tom Lagarde, the rookie from North Carolina, number 45, sets up in the hole.
Larry Brown did not use him in the last ball game, right?
Inside to Hillman, and Webster with a rejection. And he has had a ton in this series, 19. Williams outside, 12 points for Gus Williams in the first quarter. Thompson to the hole.
And that's more like the David Thompson people are used to seeing.
It's a 9-point Nugget lead. Williams. Hillman off to Wilkerson. Wilkerson saying to Lagarde, get out of here. Don't give me that much congestion. Thompson outside. And Silas with his strength took it away from Lagarde. Johnson. Nuggets will come back. Trying to boost that 9-point lead. 1:17 left. Ralph Simpson. Up. He'll come in soon for Larry Brown. Lead now to John Johnson. Anthony Roberts comes back on him, and John takes it to the basket for Seattle.
And a good transition basket again by Seattle off the fast break situation. David Thompson, if he tries that move, he's never going to get the shot off, Brent. When he makes a spin and turns his back, Marvin Webster will be there every time down low.
Darnell Hillman looking a little weary as he goes down the floor. He's got possession right now. Here's Lagarde.
Again, Denver getting inside the Seattle defense, something that they were not doing very effectively in the previous ball games.
Thompson awaits Gus Williams. Wilkerson has been taking Dennis Johnson all the way. Double team on Webster. He traveled again.
Ollie Walker now in for Seattle. Ralph Simpson and Matt Calvin now in for the Denver Nuggets.
Matt Calvin checks in. There he is. And Ralph Simpson.
And Ralph Simpson has not been playing the type of basketball he played in the last series against Milwaukee. They certainly can use him to get a resurgence here.
In effect, Denver going with 3 guards right now. Wilkerson is at the point. Simpson and Calvin are on the wings for the final 8 seconds, and Bobby Wilkerson takes it all alone.
Now, if Bobby Wilkerson starts to score points, it's going to be a big plus for the Denver Nuggets.
We've come to the end of the first quarter, and the Denver Nuggets, who must win this 5th game to force a 6th, have dominated all the way. They lead Seattle by 11 points.
The Road Handler, Sears' best steel-belted radio. It ran the rugged route of the Pony Express with even more traction than the Sears steel-belted radio that beat the Baja. Sears Road Handler has a wider radial design with 2 steel belts under a deeper, broader tread for a bigger footprint and better traction. Laboratory tests show better traction for wet curves, better traction for slippery hills, better traction for stopping. The Road Handler, from the home of the radios, Sears.
Outward bound, Rota, Spain. The Navy. See your local recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
I'm Jack Lemmon, and I believe in kids. As a matter of fact, I've got a few of my own, but the kids in my personal life were born mentally and physically privileged. By that, I mean they were normal. You see, they never needed Variety Club, but if they had, Variety Club would have come running, I know that. When you give your dollars and time to your local Variety Club, it all goes to kids who desperately need your help. They're going to thank you as long as they live, and I thank you.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. Reminds you somewhat of the Orange Crush fever, which affected this area during the last football season as the Broncos drove to the Super Bowl before losing to the Dallas Cowboys. The story of the first quarter is a simple one. Rebounding, Denver 14, Seattle 4. 5 offensive boards for the Nuggets, none for the Sonics, and an 11-point Denver lead. Fred Brown on the steal. Lead to Silas. Cut off by a little Mac Calvin, and Fred comes back down. He'll try to give him some quick offense if he can. Wally Walker in. And if you are still thinking about those other 3 who are active, who played on championship teams, Wally Walker was with Portland last year. How about Bobby Dandridge, now with Washington? He played with Milwaukee. And C.J. Charles Johnson, as Lagarde gives it up. Johnson played on the Golden State Warriors title team with Rick Barry.
Now the big question, Brent, can Denver still keep the momentum going for themselves, or will they let down and let Seattle right back in this ball game?
Simpson will take Williams. Calvin is over on Fred Brown. Jones cut off Sigma. Silas with a bad pass. Thought it was a man in green, and Calvin will go to the basket.
Back to a little burst of speed. Paul Silas made a mistake. He tried to palm the ball on the fake. It slid out of his hands, and an easy opportunity for Denver.
You should see the intensity in Mac Calvin's face right now as he comes back to defend against Fred Brown, who's going to try to post him up. There they are. Freddie's trying to swing free. They're going to go to him when they can. It'll be Sigma. Simpson is off. Brown cut off the break, but Simpson keeps on coming.
That was a nice move by Ralph Simpson. He looked to the right. Jack Sigma had Bobby Jones over there, and he froze Jack Sigma and penetrated right by him when he saw the opening. Nice play. And take a look at it right there. You get a little look to the right side. Sigma got frozen. Simpson takes it to the hoop, but again, Denver getting inside the Seattle defense.
We're the Van Arsdales, Tom and Dick. We're identical twins, and we drink identical beers. Light beer from Miller. We love it. The best thing about light beer is it's less filling. Great taste. Less filling. It's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. Great taste, Tom. Less filling. And I'm not Tom. You are. I'm dead. You think you are, but you never were.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The man who placed this ad in London in 1900 was looking for very dedicated people. So are we. Because to be an IDS representative, to help people and companies manage money our way, you have to want very badly to be the best in the business. It's not easy. Only 1 out of 8 who apply will get the job. If you think you're that one, man or woman, call us.
Impossible. America's waking up to the impossible shave, Gillette Atra. The first razor with a head that pivots to follow every contour of your face. For closeness with comfort you never thought possible.
Impossible.
This Atra face-hugging action keeps twin blades at the perfect angle.
Such closeness with so much comfort, it's impossible!
Gillette Atra. Yes, the impossible shave is here.
And David Thompson will team up next Sunday on 3-on-3 with Jerry Lucas and Pat Boone against Maurice Lucas, Sam Jones, and actor Robert Conrad. Here we have 10 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half of Game 5 of the Western Conference Final. Seattle, wearing its traveling green and trailing 39-26, goes to work at the attack end. Brown outside on McCalvin. Jones gives him but one shot. Wilkerson takes Wally Walker to the baseline, but misses, and Williams trying to come back. Brown's to his right. Silas, the trailing man, missed the layup. Up out of his hands, and it'll go to Denver.
Here's the play again. A good pass off. Silas puts the ball down, loses control just a little bit. Fails to get it up the first time and just loses the ball, as you see there. And here, Robert Smith in the ball game. He was only used in the last few minutes. Brandy did not play, and he had played well back here in Denver.
Simpson tosses one up on Walker. Here's Wilkerson, blocked by Brown. Wilkerson stays with the ball. Lagarde comes inside. Sickman. Walker went over for the block. Simpson tracks it down, and Ralph to the hole. Great play by Ralph Simpson.
Yes, it was, Brent. One thing that happened was the fact that the 24-second clock was restarted and the ball really never got to the basket.
Silas again, this time making the layup. Bruce Seals will soon check in.
He's not seeing much action either.
Simpson coming, and fouled as he came through the line by Brown.
Freddie gave him, as Lou Carnesecca, a former coach of mine at St. John's, said, the old New York subway push. Gave a little shot down low and pushed him away, but the official caught it that time.
Silas is out right now with Seals. Issel is back. Roberts. Williams. Nuggets are back. Smith and Simpson. Just punched one up as he forced it on the turnaround, and then there was a loose ball foul. It was against Gus Williams.
Watch the play again. Here you see Gus go up, has to double pump it, can't get it up to the basket, and trying to come in after the rebound. It's called for the foul, fouling Robert Smith.
Marvin Webster also back. He has not yet scored, and Dennis Johnson will soon check in. Lenny Wilkins starts to shuttle in an effort to get something going with Jack Sigma sitting down next to John Johnson and Gus Williams out. So Dennis Johnson and Freddie Brown are in the backcourt. Walker, Seals, and Webster are up front for Wilkins right now. Issel banks one in. Fine shooter from the outside.
Dan Issel has been a big cog in this offensive machine for Denver. Without Dan Issel, they could be eliminated already.
And he has scored 12 points here in the first half as Wally Walker. It's 2 for the Sonics. It's still a 13-point Nugget lead and 8:13 to go. Sonics have not been applying that defensive pressure that they demonstrated against the ball coming across the line in the 2 games previously up in Seattle. David Thompson reports back in. Thompson has scored 9 points. Anthony Roberts will go out. So with Roberts leaving, that means that Thompson will operate at forward. Thompson, Jones, and Issel up front. Simpson and Smith in the backcourt for Larry Brown. Shot clock inside of 10, and it's Bruce Seals. Nuggets. Sonics not getting the offensive boards. Issel on the power layup.
Freddie Brown trying to pick up the offensive foul with an acting job out there. Denver's gotten more breaks in this game, Brent, than any of the ball games, I think, so far in this playoff series.
They have played much better than Seattle so far in this game, too. Off Walker's hands, Johnson runs it down. At the buzzer, the miss, and here they come again. So they're giving the Sonics but one shot. They're shooting layups. David Thompson's been moving his game around. Simpson goes back to Issel, who was all alone.
Denver just playing excellent ball, and they are keeping the pressure on. They're not letting up in the least little bit here.
Seals in on Jones. One shot again. Robert Smith pulls it up.
And Larry Brown wanted him to run the ball up the floor, and boy, they are really doing it. Racehorse basketball out here. First time Denver's been able to establish that type of a ball game, and it's causing a lot of problems right now for Seattle. They're going to have to start making adjustments. Lenny Wilkins is up off the bench.
Sonics must regroup and try to get it back carefully. They can't lose their patience here. It's off Webster, rolling to the basket, and he's stuck with it for the basket his first two of the game. And Lenny Wilkins says, maybe now we can sustain something.
They got a break on that one, Brent. It was a bad pass by Wally Walker. Unfortunately, Marvin Webster was able to get a handle on it.
Simpson comes out to meet the ball.
So Ralph Simpson looks like he's breaking out of that slump that he was in. Picked a very opportune time to do that.
In the game Denver won, their bench contributed a lot more. Smith trying to go with Brown. And we're going to have an official timeout.
Here's the play again.
Webster back away. He was going to go argue with Jake O'Donnell.
If you saw Freddie Brown's right arm, he was called for the offensive foul, pushing Robert Smith off.
In the latter part of the 20th century, a medication was created that killed athlete's foot fungus on contact. This medication is found in Aftate for athlete's foot. Aftate relieves burning, itching, cracking. Aftate for athlete's foot. With a medication that kills athlete's foot fungus on contact.
We are super critical on that line. We'll knock down engines for a bad paint job, and that's no jive, man. Quality control is the most important aspect of the whole business.
James Rock, Quality Control Inspector. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
If the customer has problems with that car, then we got problems, because he's not going to be a General Motors customer again. We have 9 inspection stations. I go around to critical points on the line to ensure that they're doing the job right. I run hot tests. You can listen to that engine and you can say, well, this one's a good one or this one's a bad one. It's a good feeling. It's a little feeling of power. There's nobody going to overrule you. But we want to ensure that by the time that it's shipped to the assembly divisions, that engine does function in the way that it's designed to function. I feel personally responsible for that car. I know it's a good car. I know we build it, and we build it right.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
A major mystery comes to CBS. We can't give you the solution, but here's a clue. The body on the altar. James Coburn in The Dane Curse, Monday, May 22nd.
The Denver Nugget cheerleaders broke out some new costumes today, so maybe that's the reason for this huge discrepancy in the rebounding total. 21 for Denver and 7 for Seattle in the first half. 5 minutes and 35 seconds to go, 51-32. Nuggets are up by 19 points. Thompson forced to arch that shot higher. Freddie Brown trying to slap it away from Hillman. Seals up with it. Brady on the left wing. Almost lost it. No whistle. Seals underneath.
Seattle got a break that time, Brent. They made a couple of mistakes and got away with them. But you saw again when David made that spin move, Marvin is going to be there every time.
Hillman.
Again, Denver getting inside the gut of the Seattle defense, doing a great job out there here this afternoon.
Hillman fronting Webster, they get it to him anyway. Turns around on Issel. 4 points for Marvin. Thompson an attack forward right now, but Dennis Johnson is taking him because he's played him so well in this series. Larry Walker there with Simpson. It actually is switched on the guard, and on the turnover, it's Freddie Brown. The Pack leading the way. Went to the left hand.
Freddie tried to get a little too cute that time, Brent, even for Freddie Brown.
Issel just puts a shoulder into Marvin and picks up number 3. Offensive foul, and here's Matt Calvin.
So that could be a big factor. You see the move right there. He puts his shoulder down. Marvin staying in pretty good position, never moved his feet. Dan Issel with 3 fouls, and there he goes to the bench. And Larry Brown, I'm sure, will be concerned about his play at the start of the third quarter because he will not be in again this half.
Lenny Wilkins with Anthony Roberts coming back. Lenny Wilkins over on the Seattle bench will now try to mount a serious offensive charge at 53-36 because, as Rick Barry told you, Larry Brown has been forced to take Issel out. So he will now attack with Williams, Dennis Johnson, Walker, Webster, and Bruce Seals. Freddie Brown goes out. 4:09. Thompson, Calvin, Jones, Hillman, and Roberts out there. Marvin operates on Hillman. Thompson for the rebound. Lead for Bobby Jones, breaking on the right wing. Darnell Hillman rebounding other side. Seals meets him. Matt Calvin gives it up. David Thompson from the Pack.
Denver just playing much more aggressive, Brent. It seems just like they want this game more. Of course, it is of more importance to them. They'll be eliminated. Seattle a little tentative out there here this afternoon.
Hillman, hand contact on Marvin. Walker from the perimeter. 6 points for Waller. 55-38. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go first half. Hillman had the screen. Jones wanted him to shoot, and he didn't. Shot clock down toward 5. Roberts with a big offensive rebound basket for the Nuggets.
Offensive boards again hurting Seattle.
Difference is about 9-2 now. Denver. Webster's shot misses. Wilkerson and Silas will come in.
Denver takes a timeout, Brent. This game is so reminiscent of the game when Seattle went down to play Portland, leading 3-1. They went down there. They came out the same way they came out here this afternoon. Portland did a number on them, and they better watch it here.
DuPont presents the car wax with a watertight guarantee. Rain Dance. It's guaranteed to shine longer, to bead water longer, guaranteed to last longer than the leading car waxes. Or DuPont gives you your money back. Repeat. Rain Dance is guaranteed to shine longer, to bead water longer, to last longer. The Rain Dance guarantee is watertight.
Sir, what's the hurry? Going to rent a car. Oh, well, you don't have to run. Gotta run. Oh, no, if you had an Avis Wizard number, you could walk. Walk? Call toll-free and let our Wizard system do the running. Just show a major credit card, license, sign, and get the car. I don't have to run through airports? Not with Avis. I can walk through airports.
We try harder, Avis. Avis, we don't know another way.
I'm walking through airports.
Let's buy our small computer from the giant computer company. You can't beat Goliath.
No. Right, David?
Sir, let's go with Wang. Nobody makes a better small computer or word processor. They're giant killers.
It happened before. It can happen again, because nobody's hungrier than Wang.
He's right.
Two excellent shooters hook up on Horse this afternoon at halftime. John Williamson of the New Jersey Nets against Paul Westphal of the Phoenix Suns. We'll also have Pepsi Hot Shot competition, and Jimmy the Greek will be along here live. So now we got 2:47 to go. First half, 57-38. It has been Denver all the way. They trail in this series 3-1. If they win, they go back to Seattle on Wednesday night.
And free throws have not been a factor in this game, Brent.
Wilkerson. Anthony Roberts was battling Silas off the Williams of the Sonics. Nuggets, they don't give the Sonics an easy basket. Williams goes to the jump shot.
It seems the only time they score is off of a break or transition, as we pointed out. Their set offense is totally ineffective. Give a lot of credit to Denver's tough defense.
Anthony Roberts colliding into Seals, and Roberts is called for the offensive foul that results in a turnover. Foul number 2 against Anthony.
Neither team shot a free throw in this quarter, Brent, and 3 for 5 for Denver in the first quarter, 2 for 5 for Seattle. So, as you say, a very foul-free ball game, considering what's taken place in the first 4.
2 team fouls against the Sonics, none against the Nuggets. Seals. Silas comes out with Jones. They moved to the left side, but there was a whistle. Bruce Seals away from the ball.
It may not seem that significant right now when I say this, but it really is as David Thompson comes into the ball game. It's a 15-point lead right now for the Nuggets. If they could have gotten it up over 20 points, psychologically, that means a heck of a lot more than going down with 15 or 13 points at halftime.
Thompson takes it back from Hellman. Goes to the outside shot. 13 for David.
But he's shooting the ball much better.
Seals. And he gives the Sonics just one again.
Not a good shot by Bruce.
The Sonics would have to hit a blistering pace the way they have not rebounded. At the other end, it's been all Denver getting a second shot.
They're not screening their men off the boards. A breakdown on the defensive end, and you can see 61 points for the Nuggets already. This Seattle team is known for keeping their teams under 100. When they do that, they win almost all the time.
Offensive foul against Paul Silas. Seattle can't do anything right, and Denver can't do anything wrong. It's been that kind of a half, and it shows up on the scoreboard, 61-42.
And now they have that opportunity, Brent, as Bo Ellis comes into the ball game, to get it up over 20 points. And believe me, it is a big factor psychologically. When you're trailing by 20 points, it doesn't do too much good for your mental frame of mind.
Wilkerson and Dennis Johnson were battling, and Wilkerson is called for the foul. His second.
Jake O'Donnell, Darrell Gerritsen saying, fellas, we're not going to let this game get out of hand. Doing an excellent job out there officiating this game.
Marvin waiting. Rolls the left-hander in and out. 30 seconds. Lead to Jones, who's met down there by Marvin Webster. And at the other end, Wilkerson picks up his third personal.
That was some great block by Marvin Webster. Bobby Jones just hustled up the floor. Looked like he had an open. Here he comes. Now Webster comes into the picture. Watch this timing right there. Definitely had the basketball. The fans didn't like it, but Marvin was right on the ball.
So with Wilkerson going out, you got a shot of Mac Calvin, who has replaced him. Smith staying on Williamson. Calvin goes with Dennis Johnson. It's like a little gnat. He's all over it.
Again, the tough Denver defense when Seattle has to set up. They just are not allowing them to run their offense effectively.
It's the time left, upper right-hand corner here in the first half. Williams has been the best Seattle shooter. 16 points. And the first half comes to an end. So Denver does not reach the psychological barrier that Rick Barry mentioned. But nevertheless, Sonics must regroup if they hope to eliminate the Nuggets here today. If not, they'll go back to Seattle.
Oh no, he's home.
A kiss goodbye?
You must go. And besides, your beard, it's rough.
Then I'll shave.
There's no time.
I'll use his Rise with 3 softeners.
Rise will start to soak and soften my whiskers in no time.
See? Rise helps me get a close shave quick.
You're smooth, Eddie, and so quick. Father, how about a close shave?
Rise for a quick, close shave.
Got the feeling that it's time to trade in your old truck? That a brand new truck is what you'd really like? Well,
it's tough truck trading days at your Chevy dealers. And right.
So what are you waiting for? Your Chevy dealer probably has the truck you want in stock right now. So why don't you hop into your old truck and see your Chevy dealer today? It's Tough Truck Trading Days. Chevy trucks, built to stay tough.
Yeah, Buck.
I just went to another bar and asked for light beer from Miller.
Yeah?
They said, sorry, Buck, we don't have it.
They didn't have it?
No. I don't want some beer that's going to fill me up.
No.
I want light. Tastes great.
Right.
Has a third less calories than a regular beer.
Yeah.
And, man, it's less filling. You think I'm going to the other bar again? No way. From now on, the buck stops here.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Energy for a stronger America.
Today, ships like this are opening vast areas of the ocean for oil exploration. This one's under contract to Exxon, and she's an engineering marvel. Her electronic positioning systems and other special drilling equipment allow us to reach down into waters as deep as 4,000 feet to search for oil. This ship provides Exxon with valuable deep water experience that will help us find more energy for a strong America.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Cricky, and today our CBS horse competition continues in the quarterfinal round. I guess if you've ever played basketball, you know the game of horse, where you must duplicate your opponent's shot. A miss means a penalty letter. 5 misses, 5 letters, that spells horse, and you're out. Today we have 2 players with the unusual ability to shoot with either hand. John Williamson and Paul Westphal matched up. And for more on the rules, here's Mendy Rudolph.
The basic rules of horse are as follows. The player in control must describe his shot beforehand. Now, 2 consecutive shots from the same area are not allowed unless someone moves at least 5 feet away. There are trick shots allowed. However, the same trick shot cannot be attempted more than once in the contest. The flip of the coin will determine who goes first. Now, there's going to be disputes out there, and if there are, my word will be the final judge.
John Williamson won the toss, so he leads away.
One hand. Can't win a toss.
He has a remarkable ability to put the ball in the air without using his other hand. He bounces it, picks it up, and just fires away with the one hand. And he puts the first letter up.
First letter, Westphal.
By gosh, Big John says.
Same shot, back ball, one hand.
Control goes to Westphal.
And that's something you don't want if you're playing Paul
Left-handed off the
Westphal,
board.
because he's got tricks you haven't seen before. John Williamson at this taping was with the Indiana Pacers. He since, of course, went back to the New Jersey
Left-handed
Nets.
fadeaway jumper from just right by the dotted line there.
Williamson, control.
Both these players able to shoot the jump shot with either hand, not just take
Got a
layups with
corner,
either hand.
one
They're
hand.
truly ambidextrous.
Nope.
So Westphal missed it all, and now he has a problem with 2 letters up.
Would hit one hand.
It's all John Williamson will show you, and he'll keep knocking him down. So Westphal hits a clutch shot.
Corner, one hand.
Westphal, control.
Go back to the left-handed fadeaway.
Here he is shooting with the wrong hand. He's normally a right-handed shooter. A left-hand fadeaway jump shot by Westphal.
So that's just a jump shot, right? Yeah, fadeaway jumper.
Letter, Williamson.
So we're now tied up at 2 letters
bounce it
apiece.
on the left side, bounce it on the right side, then shoot it in off the board with the right hand.
Letter, Williamson.
And Westfall comes from behind now to take the lead 3 letters to 2, and he still has the shooting advantage.
Bang it on the back of the backboard and take it and shoot a right-handed shot, not using the board on the other side.
Swish.
Okay? Swish.
Didn't look like much. Try that one, though. That is tough duty to match up with a shot that Westfall just put in. And a 4th letter goes up on
Williamson.
John Williamson.
Two-hand dunk shot. He doesn't have to dunk it, but you have to touch the back of your neck with the ball and shoot it from the other side. I'm going to carry on past the basket and shoot it back going that way.
You're going to bank it or swish it?
No, swish it, swish.
Swish it.
So really what the all-pro guard from the Phoenix Suns are going to do is just slam it down with 2 hands.
Why'd you drop it in, right?
John Williamson under a lot of pressure now. He's 1 letter from elimination. That's it. The ball game is over. Paul Westfall wins it. John Williamson goes out here at the Omni International Complex in Atlanta, Georgia. And Paul Westfall of the Phoenix Suns advances to the semifinal round. Paul, you found a little Achilles heel there in John Williamson with the left hand.
Well, I had a little advantage because I've been using my left hand for a long time, and it comes pretty naturally to me. So if a guy hasn't been used to using it, it's in my favor.
There's a lot of strategy when you get down this far now, isn't there?
Well, I figure that all these guys are such great outside shooters that if we would just shoot outside shots, I might win and I might lose. But if I go inside with the left hand, if they haven't practiced as much as I have, they're going to be at a disadvantage.
And so it's on to the semifinals for Paul Westfall of the Phoenix Suns. A loser in the quarterfinal round receives $2,000. Our eventual winner will get $15,000. Join us for the next quarterfinal matchup between Kevin Greavy and JoJo White.
That final round will be coming up after our coverage of this Western Conference Championship game. Lee Trevino holding that 1-stroke lead over Melnick and Hurd. And the NBA on CBS will return with the Pepsi Hot Shot after these messages from your local stations.
The neighborhood butcher has eyes for Edith on All in the Family 1 hour earlier tonight on CBS.
Let's go back now a few weeks to Portland, Oregon, in the Western Finals of the Pepsi-Cola NBA Hot Shot program. Now, the 12 youngsters who will be coming out have competed since last summer in playgrounds across the land. They are the best of the more than 2.5 million boys and girls who played Hot Shot this year. Now, the Pepsi-Cola Hot Shot game is a 1-minute race against the clock, and a competitor scores points by shooting from special hot spots on the court which you see marked. Each hot spot has a different point value depending upon distance and angle. For example, that hot spot at the top of the key, well, that's worth 5 points. The hot spot on the left baseline is only 12 feet from the hoop, and that's worth 2 points. The first competition, boys 9 to 12, Robert Lilly from Leavenworth, Kansas, representing the Kings, will compete against Kevin Lute from Albany, Oregon. He will represent the Trailblazers. Now, these previous hot shot competitions against each other today, their score right here is only part of their total score. Kevin on the left is leading Robert by a score of 70-42. You're watching young Mr. Lilly here, and he's really got his work cut out. He's 11 years old, and he's in the 6th grade at David Brewer's school, while Kevin here is 12. He's a 6th grader from Albany, Oregon. He entered Hot Shot through the Albany Boys Club last summer, and he has won every match he has ever played. His dad's a sales manager for a radio station in Albany. Robert, meanwhile, on the right, is out of Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. His father is a major there. Last year, we had a girl in the 13 to 15-year-old category, Janine Old, and she came from Fort Leavenworth. Her father was also there in the Army, so they got some hoops up there in Fort Leavenworth, don't they? We'll total up the scores now and have the winners in a moment, but here is our second competition. We've got Nancy Saul from North Glen, Colorado. She will represent the Nuggets. Terry Reneker from Portland will represent the Trailblazers. In earlier rounds today, Terry amassed 55 points, or 7 more than Nancy's 48. And some of the judges told me that this was going to be one of the closest competitions of the afternoon. Terry, on the left, is 14 years old. She attends Waldo Junior High in Salem, Oregon. You can tell just how hot the basketball fever is out here in Oregon with the success of the Trailblazers. We've got several youngsters representing them in the finals. Nancy is 14. She attends North Glen Junior High out of Colorado, and she is a marvelous all-around athlete. Besides being a good basketball player, she likes to swim, and she was Colorado's 3-meter diving champion in 1977, and these girls are pouring in the baskets, aren't they? This is extremely close. Nancy's going to need one. So now it's up to the judges to put down those point totals, and we move along to the third competition. Boys, 13-15. Troy Fonts from Holt, Missouri. He will represent the Kings, and Brian Fundingsland from Portland, Oregon will represent the Trailblazers. He's moving there to the left. As they go into the final round, Troy on the right is leading 71-63. Troy is a Hot Shot champion from last year. He won the boys 9 to 12 age championship, and he's the only champion from last year's Hot Shot competition to make it as far as the semifinals this year. But Brian, whom you are watching, is a fine athlete, a freshman at the Jackson School in Portland. He was right is leading 71-63. Troy is a Hot Shot champion from last year. He won the boys 9 to 12 age championship, and he's the only champion from last year's Hot Shot competition to make it as far as the semifinals this year. But Brian, whom you are watching, is a fine athlete, a freshman at the Jackson School in Portland. He was a Hot Shot area finalist last year. He's also an outstanding football and baseball player. His dad was a marvelous athlete at Oregon State. But Troy is some shooter. I watched him work out there from that 5-point spot, and here he goes to the 4. Miss. Let's see if he goes right back. 2 in a row. He's left the door open. This is going to be an important shot for Troy. He's got it down. So we'll add up their totals. Now, here are our winners of the Pepsi-Cola NBA Hot Shot Western Conference Finals. Sandy Spears from Indianapolis. And the boys 9 to 12, Kevin Lute from Albany. Girls 13 to 15, Terry Reneker from Salem, Oregon is the champion in that category. Boys 13-15, Troy Fonts from Holt, Missouri, still winning. And the girls 16-18, Nancy Garcia from Denver, Colorado. In the boys 16-18, Kevin Eason from San Francisco. And all these youngsters who won here today will go on to play against the Eastern Conference champions at halftime of the 3rd NBA Championship Series game 2 weeks from today on Sunday, May 28th. Now, next week, CBS will show you a special Hot Shot Championship preview at halftime of our game, so we'll see you then.
On each of our NBA telecasts during the rest of the season, we're going to be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player. In conjunction with this award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the player's college or university. Now, any student may be eligible to benefit from that scholarship fund, and today's winner will be announced at the end of the telecast. Now it's a pleasure to bring in my buddy, Jimmy the Greek, on this Sunday afternoon. Jimmy, what in the world am I hearing out of Oklahoma about that coaching staff?
Internal problems. 3 of them have resigned already, and the faculty actually want Schweitzer to go.
So Barry Switzer could be out at Oklahoma?
Well, he's only lost 4 games in 4 years. That's going to be pretty tough.
Jimmy, tell me about some of the veterans around the NFL who still could be on the trading block.
Some of the bigger names are Capoletti of the Rams, Page of Minnesota, and Muncie.
Page, that'll be something. You gave me a firm to win the Kentucky Derby. The Preakness is next week. Alydor will be back, right?
No, Affirmed will be back again.
Yeah, but in the Belmont, Jorge Velasquez will start him early enough, and Alydor will spoil the Triple Crown.
Forget about it. Affirmed will win the Triple Crown.
Greek Washington in the NBA Championship Series against either Denver or Seattle, with the West holding the home court advantage. How would you rate it?
That makes them the favorite. The West holding the home court 7-5.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you very much. One thing to keep in mind about Jimmy's pick here, saying that the West is favored, Washington is a very strong rebounding team. That's how they did against Philadelphia, and if you can rebound Seattle, you'll do well.
Hey, fellas, today we've got a new activity for you.
What's it today, butterfly nets? Hey, Hondas!
Hey!
Honda has the world's largest selection of small bikes. There's one right for just about every kid, no matter what size. See them all at your Honda dealers. A small Honda can make for a lot of excitement and years of fun.
You're really going strong! Really going strong!
All across our land, people know our brand. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC.
Say that, men? You can trust AC spark plugs. And remember AC filters to help protect your engine from dirt and dust. Right, Ben? Ben? Kids!
Drive through dirt and dust. Good filters are a must. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Filters by AC. Plugs and filters by AC.
Port of call, Caribbean. The Navy. See your local recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
These are 2 of today's newest razors. The one on the right is the new Norelco rechargeable rotary razor. This one has 2 blades and pivots up and down. The new Norelco 36 blades in 3 adjustable floating heads and a new shaving angle. Both give you a close shave. But the new Norelco rechargeable lets you walk away from soap and water. Of course, they do give you one thing Norelco doesn't. Gotcha! The new Norelco rechargeable rotary razor. Still no gotcha.
A basketball team is a lot like a family. We got to work together to win the game. On a much larger scale, the same thing is true when a family member suffers a stroke.
It happened yesterday.
It takes the whole family pulling together to help the stroke victim become a useful member of society again. You can count on your American Heart Association to help.
You can use when you leave.
Remember, we're fighting for your life.
An announcement from the American Heart Association in cooperation with the NBA.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by all the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevy dealers everywhere. The Bic Shaver, designed to give you days of close, comfortable shaves. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
I want to amplify a bit on what I was touching upon with regard to the Washington Bullets against either of these 2 teams, Denver or Seattle, and it's reflected in the rebounding statistics from the first half here this afternoon. Denver, to a large extent, is staying alive because of vastly superior rebounding. 31-11 and 13-2 at that offensive end. Now, I don't happen to think that the Washington upset of Philadelphia is as big as a lot of folks seem to think it is. I feel that Washington went into that series matching up pretty well, which is what I said prior to the first game. Wesley Unseld, Elvin Hayes, Mitch Kupchak, they are hard to move out underneath when they go to work rebounding. And even though they will not have the home court, it is going to be a strong series, which is apt to pivot around which team rebounds the strongest. Now remember that Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld are 0-8 in championship games, and David Thompson misses the first shot for Denver here in the second half, and we've got a foul immediately.
There's David making the move to the hoop. See him take it up. Looked like he wanted to go up and cram it, but he just didn't seem to have the elevation. Comes off the front rim there. He reaches in, whacks Jack Sikma on the arm. Backcourt foul to the free throw line. Jack Sikma for 2 shots, and of course neither team shot a free throw in that second quarter.
Now, Seattle behind 61-44. The first thing you got to do is say you can get back in mentally, and that becomes a problem with Seattle. They lead this series 3-1. Game 6 would be back home, and in the back of every player's mind has to be the realization that even if they lose this one, they get a 1-game edge and they're going to go home. So it's tough, and Lenny Wilkins is going to have to keep the whip out. Jones leads another layup for Denver. So here we go again. Nuggets, meanwhile, feel that they can win up in Seattle, even though the Sonics have won their last 19 in a row up there and come back to Denver Friday night for a Game 7. But they have their work cut out indeed. Marvin Webster against Dan Issel has played so tough. Johnson outside.
Yes, Brenton, as Al Adams always said to us, hey, fellas, you can't walk out on the floor here and expect to win just because you're at home. So Seattle shouldn't try to rely on that. They better try to win this basketball game and end it here.
Home court advantage not that important sometimes in a 7-game series. Denver has turned it over. Seattle trying to get a spurt going. In 2 of the last 3 championship series that I've broadcast, the team that did not have the home court came away victorious, including Portland of a year ago, Golden State of 3 years ago. Gus Williams picks up where he left off early in the first half.
Both teams shooting exceptionally good in this particular game. 48, almost 49% for Seattle in the first half, 58% for Denver.
Sikma knocked it away. Roberts was right there. Sikma got back. And Marvin Webster off. And the Sonics trying to rally. 63-50. Williams outside. And here they come. 63-52. Denver's got to call a timeout immediately and try to re-grab the initiative here.
That's exactly right. And as we pointed out, this happens so often to this Denver team. They get a big lead. They just can't seem to hold on to it. They don't have that killer instinct.
Presenting the amazing 1978 G30 Chevy van. There's a new look, but the same mammoth load capacity as last year. You can equip it to hold 296 cubic feet. Or Chavan, over 2 tons of payload. Plus, Chevy van has the potential of becoming something very personal. 1978 Chevy van. Seeing is believing. Chevy trucks, built to stay tough.
The car can do a lap in 60 seconds. You can do the car in 19. And that's the way it has to be, because you don't win races on the track unless you win them in the pit first. And now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
Miller beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
The first thing you notice about the Bic shaver is that the handle is hollow, practically worthless. Bic put the money into their top-quality bonded stainless steel blade. That's why Bic can charge only 19 3/4 cents a shaver. And each one gives you days and days of close, comfortable shaves. The Bic shaver, hollow handle, superior blade, incredible price.
The second clue, the seductive heiress. Who'll solve the mystery and who'll survive it? James Coburn stars in The Dane Curse, Monday, May 22nd.
Denver's David Thompson pulls up with the basket. 65-52, so the Nuggets respond immediately after Larry Brown's timeout. Williams back and Thompson is on him. Anthony Roberts goes with John Johnson. Bobby Jones is here on Sikma. Issel is there on Marvin Webster. Sonics trying to pick it up. Williams outside. And again, the Nuggets give them but one shot. Dominating. Issel is all alone. Williams got back and fouled him.
Again, Dan Issel hustling down the floor. You'll see the pass there. Just gets over Gus Williams' hand. Not right to Dan so that he had a good control of it, but he is fouled. Gus Williams picking up his third personal foul. And Gus, good sportsmanship there, of course, trying to prevent Dan Issel from getting hurt. And most players in this league are very good about that, Brent. They realize everybody's out here trying to earn a living, and I can't think of any player out there trying to hurt somebody else intentionally.
So Dan Issel, out of Kentucky, the horse breeder, who has played so well here against his former teammate Marvin Webster. Give him 18 points now. 10 minutes left in the third. It's 67-52. Nuggets up on the Sonics as the Sonics try to rally, leading the series 3-1. The Washington Bullets await the winner. Abe Poland has to be so happy about how the Bullets came along this year in the playoffs. It's going to go over to Denver on the offensive foul.
Jack Sikma trying to set a screen on a set pattern down low on the baseline, was moving on it. Darryl Garrettson picked him up for the foul, his third.
Wilkerson with control of the basketball. Dennis Johnson goes with David Thompson down low. They set a double screen, but Webster was out harassing the ball. Issel puts it down on him. Goes to David. Blocked by Webster. Johnson now checking. 2-on-2. Dennis Johnson for the basket. Sikma slow in getting up. He was shaken up. Jack Sikma is hurt.
He wanted 20 seconds, but he can't
get it. Denver's got the ball. Jones. Now they can take it. There it is. Jake O'Donnell stopping the game, and trainer Frank Furtado comes out. There is the coach, Lenny Wilkins. And I've got to say that I think that Lenny Wilkins is one of the classiest men that I have ever dealt with in all the sports. He came up to me today and said, "Can I speak to you for a moment?" And I said, "Sure, Lenny." He said, "Would you do me a favor?" I said, "I'd be glad to." He said, "Would you please say something nice about the man I succeeded, Bob Hopkins? He is an excellent basketball man, and he's been taking some heat because of the way we turned it around, and I think he can still do a fine job with another team." Lenny going out of his way to say those kind words about Hopkins because, of course, everyone now is proclaiming Lenny Wilkins as Coach of the Year, but he doesn't forget those who are left behind, and he's been that way throughout his career. Now it's John Johnson. Issel jumps out. Johnson passes into Marvin Webster. Look at Issel hustle back in. Marvin saying, "Hey, I was fouled. I should have had a free throw attempt."
Sure, it looked like he got hit.
He moved a little bit. 69-56. Still the Nuggets. David coming in on Dennis Johnson. Sikma there to help. Wilkerson's the open man.
Well, they're going to lead Bobby Wilkerson constantly, and if he starts hitting that shot, it's going to create a lot of problems for the Sonic defense.
Johnson hits Dennis. JJ to DJ. That looked a bit like Rick Barry going up in the air, committed to the shot and spotting the open man and flipping that pass inside. That's a tough move for a forward to make, but it sure is effective. 8 minutes now and 10 seconds, 71-58, and Bobby Jones with a miss, but again it's that offensive rebounding, this time Wilkerson.
Yes, and that time he was not screened off the board at all, enabling him to get a free run at, and the guards many times are always deficient in that area, screening their own man off the boards.
Lee Trevino coming up immediately after this game. Can he hold that lead at the Colonial? Issel off now to Wilkerson. Nuggets pressure, 4-on-2. Jones couldn't control the ball. There's the leaderboard. Trevino with that one-stroke lead on Melnick and Hurd, and we'll be going down there as soon as this Western Conference Championship game is over. If Seattle wins, our coverage of the championship series begins next Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern or 6 o'clock Pacific time. Marvin Webster turn around on Issel. But if the Nuggets force a Game 6, regardless of what happens in Game 6, the championship will open next Sunday in the West. And that'll be a 3 o'clock Eastern time start for Game 1. Roberts in that inside position.
Anthony Roberts doing a much better job here offensively. Had 9 points in the first half, only had 4 points in the entire game back in Seattle. 7
minutes now in the third and a 15-point Denver lead. Sigma getting in behind Jones, and there was a whistle. It's against Bobby, who was trying to keep him out.
Well, watch the play right here. You see Bobby come up. He's going to try and get in front of Jack. There he is. He's muscling his way in. Jack had position. That's a good call by the official. Bobby trying to act a little bit, make it look like Jack was hooking him.
So we've got a timeout here in Denver. 6 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the third quarter, and a 15-point difference.
What would it cost to replace your car's muffler, including installation?
Oh, I'd say about $50.
No, wait, $45.
It'd be around $30.
I guess about $40.
The aluminized Sears muzzler is only $19.99.
That's half of what I guessed. It's hard to believe. On a Cadillac?
Is that really true?
$19.99.
That's a terrific price, with installation included.
That's something.
Should have known it. Sears.
The muzzler, only $19.99 installed. Only at Sears.
The new Minolta XG7 35mm reflex camera is automatic, so you can concentrate on the action while the XG7 sets itself. All you do is focus and press the button. The optional auto winder even advances the film for you. With the XG7, you can change lenses fast, too. The Minolta XG7. Try it. You'll fall for it.
Okay, big, green T. If National's gonna be the best car rental company, we have got to hustle. Schultz, the last reservation call.
9 seconds, sir.
Walsh, relay service means.
Fast service, sir.
Willoughby, before we rent this new Chevy, we check all 10 items on the maintenance checklist. And then we sign it. Sir. Okay, team, let's go.
10,000 people working for you. The big green team. We're National Car.
From the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday will have that motorcycle jump-off championships. Then we'll have the finals of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders competition. The winners of that competition, no doubt, will be seen a lot on CBS next fall. Our directors, like Tony Verna, who's working this game, they love to take you to commercial, don't they? Looking at those pretty cheerleaders. Here we've got the Seattle SuperSonics. Dennis Johnson outside. Isseloff now to Thompson. 15-point Denver lead. They try to add to it from behind a back dribble. Hillman working in now, and Webster into the passing lane. Thompson retrieves.
David Thompson has got the range here this afternoon. He's shooting well over 60% here, Brent, and they need David to be playing that way.
After he was under 40 for the first 4 games. Johnson waiting. Here is Sigma. Turns around on Hillman. Issel is down. Sonics can't sustain a rally, can they?
And Jack Sigma has not been a factor at all in this series.
Roberts. Thompson.
So it looked like things were getting a little difficult there for Denver, and Seattle cut it down to 11, quickly back up to 19 points, and they have a chance to take control of this game. They'd love to put the orange crush on right here.
5:45 to go in the third. Webster for the right baseline. Nuggets attack on the right side. Thompson goes over behind Hillman. Wilkerson fouled as he came up for that shot.
Jack Sigma will watch the play here as the pass of the books, and watch Sigma reach in, try to go for a steal. Just barely catches the arm. The official called the foul. Picked it up. That's 4 personal fouls on Sigma.
Roberts checking with Larry Brown. Comes back with his teammate Bobby Wilkerson at the free throw line. And Paul Silas due to check in for Lenny Wilkins.
2 team fouls, Brent, on both clubs right now. Nobody in foul trouble, and just an excellent job being done out here by the officials, because you really don't notice them. They have not been a factor.
2 of the senior men, Gerritsen and O'Donnell. 5:22, Webster retrieves. Williams trying to get the break going, but the Nuggets are back on defense. Webster with the screen. Wilkerson goes with Gus. Silas gets the ball to Marvin. Marvin on the jumper against Issel. 80-64. 5 minutes. Wilkerson signals the play. Dennis Dennis Johnson with his hands full. Got it back to Wilkerson, and Anthony Roberts, the open man, as Webster comes across, and it goes back to Anthony Roberts, and Issel is alone on the other side. That play just demonstrates how much Denver has dominated the rebounding story here today. They want this one more. There's no question about it. Johnson cut off by Wilkerson. Got inside of Darnell Hellman, snapped down, but Dennis Johnson gets it back to the basket for Seattle.
That Anthony Roberts really impresses me with his ability to get on the boards. He doesn't have a lot of higher size, but he certainly works hard at it.
Issel and Hillman screen for Thompson.
And that was some screen, Brent. Darnell Hillman just put a football block like they were protecting the quarterback on Dennis Johnson.
84-66. Johnson drills it right back. Larry Brown looking on from the Nugget bench. Trying to drive this series back to Seattle for a sixth game. Issel with 20. Pass batted right back to Wilkerson. The ball is bouncing right for Denver, and there's a loose ball foul. Anthony Roberts and Gus Williams are there, and the foul's on Gus.
That's 4 fouls on Gus Williams. Shows you how things are not going well for Seattle. Ball just not bouncing their way here this afternoon.
Williams on the steal, a lazy inbounds pass. And Gus burns them for it.
That's exactly right. Darnell Hillman was just much too easy going with that pass, threw it out there, and Gus uses great anticipation and speed to pick it off.
7 baskets separate these two teams. 3:24. Silas watching Hillman. Darnell double pumped and came right back in on top of 3 green jerseys. Out of frustration, Darnell Hillman rushed in for his 3rd foul.
There you go. You see him have to take a difficult shot. Knew he missed it, tried to crash to the boards, picks up a foul. So 3 quick mistakes by Darnell. And Larry Brown says, that's enough. Why don't you sit down? We'll let Bobby play for a while.
One of the key defensive men in all of basketball, Bobby Jones out of North Carolina. 84-70 and 3:10. Johnson trying to rub Roberts off on the running right-hander. 84-72, so they've clawed back to within 12 now. They are within striking distance.
This game never ceases to amaze me, Frank.
Roberts to David, Thompson up. Bobby Jones to Issel and Webster. Fouled him.
Look at Dan.
He draped all over the horse's body that
He got whacked pretty good on that right shoulder. You see him holding it. Marvin's over talking to him. He certainly didn't do it intentionally. And that can really hurt, Brent. I got an elbow once like that. And started to cause some calcium deposits. Here's the shot coming up right now. Bounces off the boards. Jones with the ball. Makes a fake. Gets Marvin to commit. Dan tries to go up. Gets whacked hard.
See what's new today.
Last spring, 227 specially equipped Chevy Nova police cars were delivered to the Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Department. Now, that's a tall order, but no surprise, because law enforcement agencies in 47 states have made Chevy Nova America's best-selling police compact. Now, a lot of the things the police look for in a new car are the same things you'd look for in a new car. Reliability, performance, and value. Chevy Nova, a wanted car, now more than ever.
You're watching television.
We're watching Selectavision, the 4-hour video cassette recorder from RCA.
Selectavision gives us the best of television. We've recorded the best action,
the best movies,
even the best educational shows. Sometimes there's nothing good for them on television.
But there's always something good on Selectavision.
Let RCA turn your television into Selectavision.
Let's get ready to blow her.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now comes Miller time. It takes as much skill to bring down a building as it does to put one up. And now's the time for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Here's what you made room for.
Miller beer.
He went the wrong way.
There's Dan Issel with his back to you, and the trainer, Chopper Travaglini, had applied some ice to it. And a reminder that if Denver wins here And again, Wednesday night in Seattle, then CBS will be back in Denver Friday night for the 7th and deciding game. But Denver has a lot of work ahead of it before we can talk about a 7th game. If Denver wins this game, however, no doubt what happens after that. The first game of the championship series will be next Sunday. If Seattle comes back here, we'll start the championship round Friday night. 2 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the third.
Now I know why Dan Ness was complaining. He felt he should have been at the free throw line.
Wilkerson off of the shot. So Daryl Garrettson ruled that Webster caught him coming down after the pump fake. And then Danny had just thrown the ball up in the air, trying to draw the shooting foul. 84-72. Seattle can move to within 10. The Williams fake goes in.
I was just
hanging in the air.
I was just getting ready to say what a bad shot Gus tried to throw up. He could have passed off to the open man in the corner. Here he is, firing up, gets fouled, makes the basket. So, you know, as they say, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while.
There's Robert Smith, rookie from Las Vegas.
That probably brought Gus's mom off the chair.
Larry Brown says, go in there, Smitty, and stop that shot.
Defensive players got to just shake his head at that one and say,
right.
What's going on here?
All right, it's 84-75. The Sonics with a chance. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Thompson's operating in the backcourt. Jones wanted the ball to come through him that time. Here's Smith. They're still staying to the right side. Thompson from the perimeter. It'll stay down.
And David did not hesitate on that one.
Williams applying heat now on Smith. Never thought about dealing at that time, did he? So a great 27-point explosion so far for Gus, with 1:50 to go in the third.
The Gus and David show with Dan Issel helping out Denver.
Jones to Issel, blocked by Webster, his 5th rejection of this game.
That's some great defense and great offensive move. 2 super plays.
Johnson hit by Anthony Roberts as he came right down the middle, and Roberts was alongside of him that time.
There's the play here. Watch Anthony Roberts. It's a bad play. Just runs into his man, picks up the foul. That's the inexperience of the young man playing. Morrow Roberts, he picks up the foul.
His third, Rick.
And that is now the
15th foul on the Nuggets.
Yes, it's the penalty situation, so that's a big play, a chance to cut this lead. Right now, back down to 7 points. So they're right back in this ball game right now. There's a lot of time to go. 4th quarter, 1:35 here. Seattle has fought their way back into it. Denver, with golden opportunity, is letting it slip away gradually like they've done so many times before.
And again, we should point out that Paul Silas has been on the floor for this comeback by the Sonics. 86-79 with 1:30 to go in the third. Roberts cut off a pick.
And that was a play executed to perfection. The defense broke down the way the coaches like them to break down. They did not switch off. Roberts wide open.
John Johnson has lost it.
So a big break for Denver. They score a big hoop. That gave them confidence. Turnover by Seattle, a chance for them to get that lead back up to 11 points.
And Seattle will pick up Smith high. Jones going into Anthony Roberts. Roberts missing that time, and Silas with the rebound.
That's the same play, Brent, with a different option off of it. They got the good shot, but it didn't go down.
Going to Johnson, but the whistle was blown as the pass came in, and Smith assessed the personal, his first. And because they're in the penalty, of course, Johnson will come up to the free throw line.
They had a definite mismatch there. Robert Smith, a short fellow over 6 feet tall. Johnny Johnson, 6'5". They took advantage of it.
Wilkerson reports back in for the Nuggets.
They list John is 6'7", but he's not that tall, really.
He's not 6'7", Rick?
No, because I'm just a little over 6'7" myself, and Johnny's not right up there with me, so I think they're giving him the benefit of the doubt on that listing.
88-81, a 7-point difference. Last minute of the third quarter. Thompson tries to rub Dennis off, and John comes over. Knocked back to the Nuggets. They were deep, trying to avoid that fast break. Issel missing, but Jones bats it back. It'll be Bob. David Thompson. Rejection by Marvin Webster. Crowd thought for sure he was all over him that time. Missing again, but the Nuggets control.
Bobby Jones kept that one alive. Great play.
Smith gives it up, and finally the Sonics come out. 2-on-1. Dennis Johnson drives. That is a very, very big turnaround. The Nuggets with 4 opportunities up here, and good ones couldn't hit, and it's suddenly 88-83. Last shot time for the Nuggets. Jones will take it outside, and there's the buzzer. We have got a 5-point game.
There we go. Let's take a look at Marvin Webster right here. Here's the shot coming off. Ball goes to David Thompson. Watch Marvin right here. He goes up with 2 hands, even though he was out of position. Managed to get his hands on the ball, block the shot, and that is a big play for Seattle.
Not everyone will understand the language spoken by this Chevy Camaro. For those who understand the language, we recommend the car.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. It's that hilarious movie. It's a mad, 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 mad world. Tuesday night on CBS.
Denver will take the home crowd help. A 17-point halftime lead has been whittled to 5 by the Seattle SuperSonics. 27 points for Gus Williams for the game, 23 for David Thompson. Williams with control as we start the last quarter. Seattle could find itself in the championship if they keep coming. Issel up high for the rebound. Seattle's got it back. It was Bruce Seals, and there was a whistle.
And Jake O'Donnell called Bruce Seals for stepping on the baseline, so a big break there for the Nuggets. Here's the play coming up, the shot. You'll see Bruce Seals get the loose ball. Watch his foot now. Right there, the left foot, you can't see it in front of Dan Issel, but he stepped on the baseline, the official right on top of it.
Smith, Wilkerson, Issel, Jones, and David Thompson. Now, Gerritsen said, did he touch it coming over? Did Paul touch that ball? That's what he's asking for right now because he had the outside view. Yes, he did.
There's the pass. Paul reached over. Jake O'Donnell said, yes, he did deflect the ball, so another break for the Denver Nuggets.
Thompson cuts free. Williams is there. David backs in, gets ready for the jumper, and Williams got a hand on it, blocked it. It's off for Gus and knocked out of bounds by Simpson.
Well, Ralph Simpson almost came up with a big play for Denver, but Gus Williams with a good defensive effort used his quickness and got around David Thompson behind him.
Denver is starting to worry about the referees too much again. Thompson was crying after that play. That hasn't done them any good in this series up until now. Webster waiting for the cutter. Dennis Johnson glides with a soft touch, and it's Paul Silas knocking teammates and opponents, but he also traveled.
Let's watch the play. Keep an eye on Paul Silas right to the right part of the center in your screen. You see him there. He gets good position. He gets the ball. Now watch his feet. Bounces it. Did a little shuffle step. The official declared walking.
5-point difference. Thompson to the basket. Gave it up, but Issel's there. Bobby Wilkerson. David Thompson. Thompson perhaps a touch over anxious, but he got that field goal down, and maybe it will calm him just a bit.
And Brent Denver has been very fortunate. They've had 3 big breaks here getting the ball back.
Williams, Wilkerson, Gus with a great turnaround move on Wilkerson, just came the other way, spinning.
And no weak side help. If a good defensive man on his team could have helped out and moved over, Gus would have never been able to get that shot off. Marvin Webster was always been there when David's made that move.
Back to 5. Jones will take it outside. .10:23, Gus Williams asked for the timeout after Lenny Wilkins told him, let's regroup just a bit.
Yes, sir, Brent. What Seattle has to do right now is try to figure out what they want to do to try and score a few points, but basically tighten up their defense.
It's hard to tell the difference between JCPenney plain pockets jeans and the world's best-selling jeans. After all, they're both made of tough, heavy denim with good looks and great styling. In fact, you probably couldn't tell the difference at all unless you noticed the fancy stitching on the back of those famous jeans, or the money you saved on plain pockets. JCPenney plain pockets. The big difference between us and them is the pocket and the price.
Coming or going on a business trip, you've got no time to waste. And nobody knows that better than Hertz. Whether it's picking up or dropping off your Ford or other fine car, nobody has more to do it faster.
Go, okay, go! Getting you in, getting you out with super speed. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car.
You know it.
Lead two-stage maxi filter. You can lean on lead.
Dirt is your engine's enemy. You need all the protection you can get. That's why Lee adds a second stage here in our oil filter to trap more dirt than single-stage paper filters. And in our air filter, it traps larger dirt particles to help the inner filter breathe easier, cleaner, longer than single-stage paper filters. Lee two-stage maxi filters. Trap more dirt, pack more protection.
A birdie for Trevino. 10 under, and you'll be going down to Fort Worth as soon as this basketball game is over. And sitting way up out of camera range, he has just moved into the McNichols, is the legendary Pele, who as soon as this game is over, perhaps you can see him silhouetted there in the middle, he will kick out the first ball as the Colorado Caribous will open up their soccer season right next door in Mile High. But Pele heard all the excitement, and he's dropped in for the money time. Here's Webster. Issel on him. Marvin up high. Bruce Seals with an offensive block by Hillman. Picked up by Issel. Game has gotten rough. Simpson down.
Backcourt foul is going to be called on Gus Williams, and that is his 5th personal foul. What a big play there for Denver. Darnell Hillman would see him go. Gus trying to go after him. He trips him with his foot. Call for the backcourt foul.
Dennis Johnson will check in because Williams must leave with that 5th foul. 9:54. Lenny can bring him back in with 5. He loses his top score at 29. Freddie Brown will operate in the backcourt with Johnson. Seals, Webster, and Sigma up front. Silas will get a rest.
There's the turnaround, Brent. 41% from the floor for Denver in the third quarter. 76% for Seattle. 16 for 21.
94-85, a 9-point Denver lead. They were up by 17 at the half. 9:50 to go for the game. Thompson taking Seals. Issel out on Webster. Sonics are far away from the basket. Sometimes they have trouble setting a play. They turn it over.
Good pressure that time. Darnell Hillman all over Jack Sikma. Look at him. He just blankets him right here. Jack tries to make the pass. It's the toughest pass for a big man to handle. Ball, you've got to get that ball to bounce up higher. You don't want that big 7-footer bending down to his ankles or knees.
Hillman out high. Wilkerson and Thompson, both guards are underneath. Simpson now, so with the 3 guards, David can operate also it's forward. It'll go over to Seattle. Thompson, Hillman, and Issel go up front, but Thompson has got to draw Seals right now, and he gives up a good 3 inches in height. Bonds pass to Sigma. Patiently waited for the man to leave his feet and hit the field goal.
That's good execution that time by Seattle. They need more of that. Get that ball inside.
Play is stopped by Jake O'Donnell.
Marvin Webster being called
against Marvin is second.
Right, he and Dan Issel battling pretty good, and Denver wants a timeout right here. Larry Brown feels it's important to regroup his charges, try and figure out what they want to try to accomplish from the offensive end of the floor, also defensive strategy. But you notice, Brent, they have not gotten that running game established here in the second half like they did in the first half.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer
There he is.
will
Hey, you got here early. Al, 2 more Lowenbrow. Lowenbrow. Well, isn't that what regional sales managers drink? Yes, ma'am. You? You got it. I got it. You got it. You got it.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Congratulations, big shot. And I suppose you're going to forget your friends now? Probably.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
See what's new today. When you're driving down the road and you're moving through a curve and your car's looking good, it's showing lots of curve. Monza by Chevrolet.
The new Monza by Chevrolet. For a car so sporty and so well equipped, it's priced surprisingly low.
Monza by Chevrolet.
If you wanted to protect the things you own from the risks of this risky world, you'd want a whole army. This is the Continental Army. Its mission is to protect you, your home, your business, and your car against loss. Anywhere, anytime. If you want that kind of protection, call up the Continental, because nobody spells protection like the Continental Insurance Companies.
For Seattle, Gus Williams in trouble with 5. Jack Sikma playing with 4. No one on the Denver team really in serious foul trouble. There's Jack.
As we pointed out, you have to credit Bobby Jones for doing a great defensive job so far in this series against Jack Sikma.
7-point difference with 8 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Simpson pops out. Millman trying to position. It goes to Thompson, who got him behind his man.
And what happened on that play is going to be very evident when we run it back here. You'll see the pass. Fred Brown had lost his man. He was watching the basketball. David goes backdoor. Great pass. Fred fouls him on the arm. David to the free throw line. 3 team fouls on the Sonics, none on the Nuggets. Another factor here in this fourth quarter of action.
Issel out. Bobby Jones in. Hillman can move to the middle. And it's a 10-point difference with 8:48 to go. Seals brings Thompson with him. Dennis Johnson uses the Sikma screen. Hillman off to Wilkerson. Wilkerson thought he could hit the trailer, but the man came in too far, and Thompson retrieves. Wilkerson, left baseline. Hit by Webster, taken by DJ on the move with Freddie Brown to his right. It's 2-on-2. DJ coming up. Simpson fouled him.
Here's the play. Dennis Johnson with the ball, gives the pump fake. He gets Ralph to commit himself somewhat. Ralph got the ball, but his right arm slid down, as you saw, and caught Dennis Johnson on the left part of his forearm. A good call by the official, despite the boos from the crowd.
Thompson goes over. He will sit down with Issel returning. So Hillman now will immediately go back to forward. Issel in the middle and Jones the other forward.
Don't anybody go anywhere, because if you remember, against Milwaukee, Denver had a 10-point lead with about 5 minutes and some odd seconds to go, and Denver came back and won that basketball game. And here, Dennis Johnson has just cut it down to 9 with a chance to get it to 8, so anything can happen in this basketball game, the way the Nuggets seem to play at home when they get a lead.
Wilkins seizes the opportunity to rest Marvin Webster here with 8:11. Paul Silas goes back in. Sikma can operate at center. Silas! What a substitution that was, huh? Talk about timing. 97-90.
Paul Silas never ceases to amaze me the way he can perform out there. Can't jump, but boy, can he rebound.
Here's Simpson. Jones comes back. Ralph Simpson with a pretty move under the glass.
And Ralph Simpson having the best game in this playoff series for him by far.
Back to 9 and 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in this Game 5 of the Western Conference NBA Championship. Freddie Brown left alone. Simpson with the rebound. So not only is Ralph scoring, he's driving the ball up the court, he's rebounding, dishes to Jones that time.
Bobby not able to connect, but that was a great pass by Ralph Simpson. You'll see him over there on the left side of the floor. He sees the opening, looks to the left, passes to Bobby wide open. Bobby not able to maintain control as he gets fouled by Sikma.
And that is the 5th personal foul on Jack Sikma. So Lenny Wilkins faces still another decision, with the Sonics now in the penalty, and the Nuggets only with 1 team foul.
And again, Fred Brown was shut out in the first half here, just like he was the other night back in Seattle. He came up with 11 points in that 4th quarter, and he still does not have any points. And there you're looking at Fred Brown, so whether or not he can explode in the last 7:24 remains to be seen, and Gus Williams is starting to get up to come back in.
So Williams will try it with 5 fouls.
And so Lenny electing to go with his offense. He's got Williams and Brown, 2 outside shooters in the ball game now at the same time.
John Johnson is there. With David Thompson resting, Dennis Johnson gets a rest at the other end. 9-point difference. Denver up 99-97, 20. Jones from behind his back after the steal.
Saw the great anticipation that time by Bobby, and he was just not quite able to control the ball to get it in a position where one of his teammates could pick it up.
Issel jumps out, and he goes back. Gus on the double pump. 7-point difference. He can do no wrong. Issel breaks to the hoop, charges into Sikma, and they're going to call the foul on Sikma. That's it. Jack Sikma has fouled out. I thought that one could go either way.
And there's the crowd reacting to it, waving bye-bye, Jack. We watch the play again. Here's Issel coming. Sikma tries to get in front, establish the position. Really couldn't tell right there. It looked to me when watching it, when it was live, Brent, that was a situation where Sikma was moving over. Issel had committed. I talk about that a great deal. It looks a lot of times like a charge. You said you thought it could go either way. Once that driver picks up that back foot, if that man isn't already in position, I feel it should be a block. Darryl Gerritsen agrees with that. Evidently, Jake O'Donnell did on that play.
One thing about Issel, he sometimes puts his head down on that charge, and you can jump over in front of him and take up position. I've noticed him several times in this series. Looks a bit like a fullback coming through a hole. 7 minutes now, and it is 101 to 92. Williams positions the offense. Hillman. Now it is John Johnson. Marvin Webster has replaced Sikma. Rebounding, cross-court pass now to Freddie Brown. Freddie Brown hit Gus Williams cutting underneath. And Webster dominating the offense. Couldn't put it on that rim. You can't hang on that hoop like that. That's a technical foul when you go up and do that. Marvin Webster has just been assessed the technical. Lenny Wilkins here at midcourt will ask about it. You can see what he did.
There's the play again, right there, hanging on the rim. Technical foul. It's a good call by the official. We'll see right here. I would say one thing, though. He sort of got bumped down underneath, and the officials weren't able to pick that up. And I think that's why Lenny Wilkins is off the bench. He felt there should have been a foul called, and he has good reason to be upset about that, because there's no question, as you saw in the replay, that Darnell Himman definitely bumped Marvin Webster. So that's a big play, Brent. That's a turnaround there, a 3-point swing, possibly 5 points, because Denver's going to get the ball back. Came at a very inopportune time for Seattle, and Lenny's quite upset about it.
Lenny was checking on the possession coming up as Hillman goes out, because David Thompson has returned for the final 6:30. It's a 10-point difference. Simpson on the steal. Here come the Sonics. Williams, Wilkerson's back. Gus twists down to the left. Taken down by Simpson.
Gus, by trying to make the spin move, really ruined that play. If he stayed on the right side, Freddie Brown could have been wide open on the left side. When Gus made the spin move, he cut off any opportunity to pass it. Good defense by Bobby Wilkerson.
Issel putting it down on Marvin Webster, and the foul called against Marvin. That's number 3.
And here's the play. There you see Webster try to get out and commit himself, reached in with the left arm, picked up the foul. A good call, but the penalty situation, again, a big factor, as we pointed out earlier. 5 team fouls on the Sonics and only 1 on the Nuggets. 6 minutes to go. So for the first time, the free throw situation going in favor of Denver in this series.
That's 25 points for Issel, 28 points for David Thompson. They have keyed the Nuggets offense. 5:57. But Brown coming up on Wilkerson and drawing the foul.
Wilkerson and Fred have had quite a battle going on in this series. Here we see Fred right there. Wilkerson called for a little underneath motion, kind of moved his body in to knock Fred's legs.
Brown trying to get up on that scoreboard. This is his quarter.
Credit Seattle with a fine job of hanging tough and making this a game that Denver's had to really work at. They possibly thought they could have had an easy one. They didn't die, but they weren't ready at the start, and that's what really cost them, Brent, so far.
10-point difference with 5:42 to go, and David Thompson. No. Foul before that shot.
There's John Johnson picking up the foul right there, reaching in, pushing David Thompson. Fred Brown would have gotten him also, so they had their choice on that one.
Shooting for 30. .105.94 and 5 minutes and 36 seconds, and the Nuggets still not in the penalty. 2 team fouls against them.
And here's where Milwaukee turned the ball game around in that game. Let's see if Seattle can try to do it here.
John Johnson spins out. Webster appeared to be draped all over Issel that time. The whistle was not blown on that side, however. Bobby Jones picked it up.
Here's the shot by Johnson. He gets a bad break. It spins out. Now let's watch the contact in here. There you see it was a loose ball. No foul. It's a good play by the official. Johnson gets it up. Good hustle. Seattle hanging tough. Chance to cut it back down to 9. Still plenty of time to go in this ball game. Defense is what will do it for the Sonics if it's going to happen, Brent. They must keep Denver outside and hope that their percentage falters somewhat.
16 points here this afternoon for John Johnson in Game 5. David Thompson.
Well, when he gets the range, you can see what he's capable of doing.
He has played a superb game here this afternoon, knocked away, and so has Dan Issel, defending against Marvin Webster.
Dan Issel, perhaps the most consistent Nugget in this playoff series so far, only had the 1 bad ball game, the first game back in Seattle.
Salas screens for Williams. Jones came over, and the offensive foul is called, and Gus Williams has fouled out.
Here's the play. Let's see right now if Bobby Jones establishes position. Here he goes. Watch Gus. He's picked up the foot in the back, charges back into him. Looked like maybe that back foot wasn't off the floor when he did it. So the offensive foul being called against Gus Williams. Bobby quick to get over and establish position, and that is his 6th personal foul. So you're looking at Sigma and Williams, who have both fouled out of this ball game.
John Johnson picks up Ralph Simpson. Freddie Brown is with Wilkerson, and Dennis Johnson is with David Thompson. Thompson is putting his 3rd point. Thompson back on defense, and Dennis Johnson quickly for the layup. So Dennis Johnson recovered in a hurry after giving up that hoop to David. Got back and got open.
Should have been getting some help from one of his other guards. David took the shot and had to chase his own man back. The weak side guard should have gotten back on that play.
Webster. And the Sonics trying to load up for still one more run if they can. Jones with a big rebound because Simpson's all alone.
And that time it was the Seattle guards that did not get back, and that's a very costly basket, up to 13 points now.
John Johnson, Silas taps it back in.
You see, Paul,
11 to 100 with 3:57.
as the shot went up, he gave the man who was under the basket a little bump just to move him enough to get the ball.
Johnson comes over to help out on David. Here's Wilkerson. Hits Jones.
So the penetration that Denver's been able to get at different stages of this ball game has been very costly. Seattle was able to shut that down quite effectively in the last 3 games that they won, but they haven't done it here this afternoon.
Webster rolls one up from outside, and he's furious. And he didn't also get a free throw. While he was looking at the referee, they hit Issel here at the other end.
And that's what you talked about, Brent. That's exactly what Dan Issel did that time. He put his head down and was going to make the move to the hoop. Webster had good position, and he did pick up the offensive foul. You see it right there. Webster with good position. Dan just crashes right into him.
3:10, 113 to 102. Gus Williams' totals today, 15 of 33, 1 of 1, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 31 points. Freddie Brown heating up here in the fourth. 113, 104, 256. There's time, but only if Seattle can stop Denver at the other end. Jones. Webster is off. 2:39.
Again, they had good penetration. Bobby was just not able to put down the shot, but a good opportunity.
Johnson hits it. It's 113, 106. 7 points, and they've got it back. They can go to 5. Spun out. But there's John Johnson, who was fouled, no question, from behind.
Well, it happens so often here in this building, and I'm sure Larry Brown has nightmares about it. You see the situation there, a 7-point difference. Seattle hanging tough, working hard. 2:21 to go. They're going to the free throw line. 2 shots for John Johnson, a chance to cut it back down. 5 points, a lot of time to go. Lenny Wilkins wants a timeout. He wants to get his offensive strategy set.
We're good and tough. We're the Kellys.
The Kellys have a way to save gasoline from the ground up. A steel-belted radial called the Kelly Gas Pincher. When we tested a set of gas pinchers against our non-radials, the gas pincher pinched from 14.5 up to 31.7 more miles out of a tank of gas. That's hundreds of more miles a year with the gas pinchers.
We're the Kellys. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
For the final 2 minutes and 21 seconds, unless there's an overtime. I'm Brent Musburger with Rick Barry, and the situation is quite simple. Denver must win to force a 6-game back in Lenny Wilkins Arena.
You stay there to a point. All I'm saying is you stay here. Like if he has the ball, like he penetrates a couple times, right? You back off of him here. Take the baseline. Now he pulls up for a jumper, they're fine. See, but he calls on him and he penetrates. Now he's kicking it off. Listen, we don't want him penetrating, so he's dishing off. Make him throw up the shot. Now he passes it to somebody, Fred. Now you stay here, and then if you see someone else going, you're the guy that can come over and help. Okay? All right.
We've got to block off and get those boards, too, every time that shot goes up. We've got to follow.
Now listen, make sure every time that we're going to the board, we want to stay up on the defense. Now listen, we don't want to try and score the ball unless they make a bad pass.
Jones. Webster is off. 2:39.
Again, they had good penetration. Bobby was just not able to put down the shot, but a good opportunity.
Johnson hits it. It's 113-106. 7 points, and they've got it back. They can go to 5. Spun out. But there's John Johnson, who was fouled, no question, from behind.
Well, it happens so often here in this building, and I'm sure Larry Brown has nightmares about it. You see the situation there, a 7-point difference. Seattle hanging tough, working hard. 2:21 to go. They're going to the free throw line. 2 shots for John Johnson, a chance to cut it back down. 5 points, a lot of time to go. Lenny Wilkins wants a timeout. He wants to get his offensive strategy set.
We're good and tough. We're the Kellys.
The Kellys have a way to save gasoline from the ground up. A steel-belted radial called the Kelly Gas Pincher. When we tested a set of gas pinchers against our non-radials, the gas pincher pinched from 14.5 up to 31.7 more miles out of a tank of gas. That's hundreds of more miles a year with the gas pinchers.
We're the Kellys. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
We are back for the final 2 minutes and 21 seconds, unless there's an overtime. I'm Brent Musburger with Rick Barry, and the situation is quite simple. Denver must win to force a 6th game back in Lenny Wilkins Arena.
I'm saying you stay there to a point. All I'm saying is you stay here. Like if he has the ball, like he penetrates a couple times, right? Get back over him here. Take the baseline. Now if he pulls up for a jumper, they're fine. See, but he calls on him and then he penetrates. Now he's kicking it off. Listen, we don't want him penetrating, so he's dishing off. Make him throw up a shot. Now he passes it to somebody, Fred. Now you stay here, and then if you see someone else going, you're the guy that can come over and help. Okay? All right.
We've got to block off and get those boards, too, every time that shot goes up.
Now listen, make sure every time that we're going to score, we want to stay up on the defense. Now listen, we don't want to try and steal the ball unless they make a bad pass. But we want to pressure the ball. Okay? Now, when we come down,
Coming up right after this action, the Colonial National Invitation. And Lee Trevino still clinging to that lead over Hurd. One stroke. And the man Lenny Wilkins was talking about over there, Rick, had to be David Thompson. They must keep an eye on him now.
Well, actually, Brent, who he was talking about was Bobby Wilkerson. He was talking about Freddie Brown guarding Bobby Wilkerson, and he makes the penetration. And he said, you've got to shut the baseline off so he can't get inside and dish off with the easy opportunity. We talked about penetration. Lenny's concerned about it. He also is concerned, as Les Hoppiger brought up, the boards. Get to those boards.
But the man they're going to go... Jones. Webster is off. 2:39.
Again, they had good penetration. Bobby was just not able to put down the shot, but a good opportunity.
Johnson hits it. It's 113-106. 7 points, and they've got it back. They can go to 5. Spun out. But there's John Johnson, who was fouled, no question, from behind.
Well, it happens so often here in this building, and I'm sure Larry Brown has nightmares about it. You see the situation there, a 7-point difference. Seattle hanging tough, working hard. 2:21 to go. They're going to the free throw line. 2 shots for John Johnson, a chance to cut it back down. 5 points, a lot of time to go. Lenny Wilkins wants a timeout. He wants to get his offensive strategy set.
We're good and tough. We're the Kellys.
The Kellys have a way to save gasoline from the ground up. A steel-belted radial called the Kelly Gas Pincher. When we tested a set of gas pinchers against our non-radials, the gas pincher pinched from 14.5 up to 31.7 more miles out of a tank of gas. That's hundreds of more miles a year with the gas pinchers.
We're the Kellys. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
We are back for the final 2 minutes and 21 seconds, unless there's an overtime. I'm Brent Musburger with Rick Barry, and the situation is quite simple. Denver must win to force a 6th game back in Lenny Wilkins Arena.
I'm saying you stay there to a point. You're the guy that can come over and help. Okay? All right.
You've got to block off and get those boards, too, every time that shot goes up.
Now listen, make sure every time that we're going to the board, we want to stay up on the defense. Now listen, we don't want to try and steal the ball unless they make a bad pass. But we want to pressure the ball. Okay? Now, when we come down,
Coming up right after this action, the Colonial National Invitation. And Lee Trevino still clinging to that lead over Hurd. One stroke. And the man Lenny Wilkins was talking about over there, Rick, had to be David Thompson. They must keep an eye on him now.
Well, actually, Brandon, who he was talking about was Bobby Wilkerson. He was talking about Freddie Brown guarding Bobby Wilkerson, and he makes the penetration. And he said, you've got to shut the baseline off so he can't get inside and dish off for the easy opportunity. We talked about penetration. Lenny's concerned about it. He also is concerned, as Les Hoppiger brought up, the boards. Get to those boards.
But the man they're going to go to on the double team is going to be David Thompson down here when he's got the basketball. That's where they can gamble.
Right. If they shut Wilkerson off, he told Freddie, shut him off. If he pitches to David now, you can go and help on him.
The focus is on Thompson. He scored 33 points. So you know where they're going to go if they need a clutch hoop. Defense must bring Seattle back now. 113-108, 221. Wilkerson's the ball man, and here's Freddie Brown. Now Thompson is down low in behind Issel. Dennis Johnson is there. Thompson floats with the ball like a pivot man right now. Coming up on Dennis Johnson. He was the shooter all the way. You knew what they were going to do, and Lenny Wilkins knew it too. 115-108, and here's the last 2 minutes. John Johnson throws one up. And on the lead break, it's Wilkerson. 2-on-1 away from Thompson. Freddie Brown running it down and out of bounds. It'll go to Denver.
Jake O'Donnell ruled that Fred Brown was the last man to touch that ball. He and David Thompson making a run for it. Here's the play here. Let's watch, see who touches it. David hits it right there off of his fingertips. Bad call by the official. That ball definitely should have gone to Seattle. It was right in front of us. We had seen it live also.
140 down to 37. 115-108. Simpson regains. Ralph Simpson has played a whale of a game. Put one up with a shot clock running down. They actually had about 3 seconds. He probably could have made one closer pass on that.
Brent, I was watching the 24-second clock. There were 12 seconds to go on that clock when he threw that shot up. That was much too early to shoot that ball.
3 seconds when he took the shot.
Well, when they flipped the clock, it must have showed 12 when they were resetting it.
When they came back to reset it, you saw it on the recycle. He threw it up with 3 seconds. Here is Brown. Tapped up by Silas. Webster digging for the rebound, and the foul is called. Wilkerson was also in underneath.
There's a shot by Fred going off. Silas right there, just couldn't get it to go down. Webster trying to battle for it. Wax Wilkerson going for the rebound.
And Wilkerson comes up because it was in the backcourt. 115-108 with a minute and 15 to go. Darnell Hillman. Bobby Jones out. Two big free throws by Wilkerson. 117, 108, 114, and some of the crowd of McNichols now starting to lead. Knocked away by Simpson. Here's John Johnson, running right-hander. Marvin Webster with feeling. 16 for Marvin inside of a minute.
Hold on to the ball, use up all the time that you can.
Shot clock down to 12.
Too soon, Brent.
Hillman keeps it in play. Rejected by Webster. Whistle coming back into Dennis Johnson. Dennis fouled him with 42 seconds. 117-110. And Denver about to send this back to a game 6 in Seattle. And well, we've got time with Danny Issel here at the free throw line. Our thanks go to our producer, Robert Stenner, and our director today, Tony Verna. Rick, we also have an MVP to select.
I'm gonna let you go first this time.
Well, I'm going to vote for David Thompson.
That's what I figured.
I felt that he came out here today and he was going to take charge of this game from the beginning.
But I'm going to leave it up to my man.
He scored
in
35
the truck.
points. Who's that?
My man in the truck. I'm going to have to go with my man. He's going to have to make it the final. Because I think that Dan Issel has played another well of a ball game, and he has been such a steady factor out here. And he was 8 for 10 in the first half, just done a super job all the time. So I'm going with Dan Issel.
Last 40 seconds, 119, 110.
He's done a heck of a defensive job on Webster, too.
Put back up and in by JJ. So with 30 seconds, producer Bob Stinner casts the deciding ballot for Dan Issel. And there's our MVP. 20 seconds. Wilkerson. 121 to 112. And Seattle here still trying to clean up with Al Fleming off the bench. We don't see him much. Mac Calvin comes in. So there will be a 6th game Wednesday night in Seattle.
And the defense, Brent, 123 points by Denver. The Sonics defense was not there this afternoon.
So we should add that on behalf of Danny Issel winning the Most Valuable Player Award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund at Kentucky, and it goes to a very deserving player who has been so consistent throughout this series. Wednesday night, Game 6 back in Seattle. So for Rick Barry, I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you that coming up next on CBS, the final round of the Colonial National Invitation. Can Lee Trevino hang on? You'll find out. So long, everybody. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.